Pedagogical in online environments, Stage 5, Systematic research through any portfolio. Presented by Jimena Alexandra Galeano Meléndez. Group number 2, Tutor Liliana Isabel Moreno. Universidad Nacional Abierta y a Distancia UNAD, licenciatura en inglés como lengua extranjera, July 2023. These portfolios develop to publicity the different thematic sequence and grid learning in relation to virtual classes, based on meaningful, reflective, and technological learning. Brief narrative. The reasons for which this research was carried out were with the objective of establishing communication and language in the English language as a second language, which allowing quantifying the progress of students in terms of the development of linguistic skills and verifying the weaknesses that must overcome through quality training and the achievement of communication skills. It was considered important to identify the students' knowledge related to vocabulary and the basic learning cycle to put oral and writing communication into practice within the strategic parameters and academic training. The tools included in virtual teaching stood out as a key and interesting point in the educational process, which were made up of practical exercise, readings, dialogues, and various interesting elements, attractive, informed content for learning language skills. Groups in chair A and B. Group A, Tuesday and Thursday, 10 until 12. Number of classes, 14 classes for each group. Group B, Tuesday and Thursday, 4 until 6. Number of classes, 14 classes for each group. Description research problem. Nowadays, linguistic abilities have been affected by the lack of habit of knowing how to read and learn, since reading and writing should be considered as instrumental learning within an intellectual and cultural activity that is a high level, where the comprehension and production of text are the purpose of the educational process and the development of linguistic skills to implement meaningful learning. Due to this, the lack of reading habits can mean that parents are not the best models that can motivate and encourage the acquisition of these habits. And on the other hand, teachers now and make use of methodological strategies to stimulate the development of language skills and identify the problem that evidence the difficulty in language development of some students. It is important to take into account the need for a methodological technique, since use it allows the teacher to make themselves understood. In addition, it helps the student to develop their own productive learning, to advance and acquire linguistic skills that allow efficient and practical quality management of language to reflect and organize ideas. Description research methodology. It is necessary to implement methodological proposals that serve to guide the strategies that allow the student to develop linguistic skills based on reading and writing that lead to obtain optimal results within the execution and evaluation. In general, the proposal must be dynamic to put into practice what has been learned, so that it can be used as any teacher who will have the flexibility and freedom to make the pertinent changes. It is essential to use strategies that promote language skills to motivate the students and emphasize new significant knowledge. Strategies used in the investigation. Recognize the appropriate strategies to allow the development of teaching learning. Propose methodological strategies for reading comprehension. Modify the planning according to the interests and needs of the students and where the agreement is valid for the other subjects that require it. Promote their activities condescending to development of linguistic skills and provide the feedback on them. Description. The importance of teaching and learning a new language is linked to the course of the human being's life, where he learns to modify the necessary vocabulary in a new language with the ability to develop linguistic skills that today are considered essential to develop the cognitive process in educational training and allows effective communication to be strengthened and essential to interact with members of society. In addition, this research is based on providing skills, abilities, and knowledge to understand and produce language messages in different situations related to the English language. The use of this language allows exploring and discovering the importance of learning oral and writing language, which is why the teacher directly strengthens the participation of the students within the educational context and the systematization of learning a second language. Detailed description. The topic related to the information questions are described as follows. The student of Group A and Group B interact with each other, asking questions according to their life, their hobbies, their friends and family in which they ask, and at the same time respond by also relating the structure of the different modal themes. Below you can see the respective links of groups A and B related to the class of information questions in English. Detailed description. Date of implementation of the subject. Jan 20, 2023. Lesson plan. Later we find the lesson plan related to the topic of information questions in English that reveals the respective process with which the proposed activities were developed. Detailed description. The theme to be developed and executed during the online class with both groups was related to the key information questions to function in any situation or participate in a conversation. The objective is to demonstrate fluency in the vocabulary within the context in relation to daily activities, where information questions are reflected as a fundamental instrument of communication and information. The results were optimal within the contextualization on the online classes, since the students showed interest and their participation in the different practical exercises were satisfactory for their learning. Number of students: Group A 5, Group B 2. Results. According to the results present in the graphs, the students of Group A demonstrate a high percentage in the learning of the subject in questions, such as the information questions in English. In Group B, the students also managed to achieve autonomous and satisfactory learning in a favorable way in relation to the information. Conclusions. Achieve effective communication with others, where it allows the student to approach other cultures and learn new language. Achieve the acquisition of new communication skills within a suitable and meaningful learning. Rescreen the importance of the learning process where grammar, communication, development of linguistic skills, and mastery of a new language are focused. Motivate and stimulate the student to focus their logical thinking towards learning new skills. Illustrative class. This is how you can see within this slide the illustrative image related to the topic of information questions in English, what was developed during the online class with the participation of the students and the development of the different practicals exercise. And finally, the link associated with the topic. Class reflection. Learning and practicing another language turns out to be very important in the daily life of the human being, since it favors a comprehensive education from the language itself to fostering curiosity about other customs and other cultures, allowing communication and expression in a different language. For this reason, it seemed essential to implement the online depth of the duplication information questions with both groups to get a level of a basic knowledge where it is required to easily teach the proper use of the theme in any survival situation and that the students feel motivated to participate within the context with activities, vocabulary, and structures through practical exercise that implement reliable and safe linguistic development. It is essential to provide the student with a pleasant, warm, and value-based environment that allows him to feel comfortable with himself where an appropriate atmosphere is created for participation and interaction with other classmates. Personal reflection. It is important to challenge new challenges that lead to learning and unique experience in academic training, which is why it is convenient to analyze the meaning of the concept of virtuality from a reflective perspective on everyday life and the creation of broad, massive and relevant educational environments that respond to the specific needs of students who are outside of face-to-face education. Personality, this reflection is evident to me since the experience obtained in the virtual classes has allowed me to idealize new work and integral environments through technological tools as a fundamental source of communication, interaction, and participation, where information is positioned open to the world and extends to various contexts, including education. Thank you very much.